Dreams are important to our physical and mental health. I don't know if you know that. My husband and I have been dreaming for decades. Without the dreams, there are so many things we never would have done. We never would have changed this. But, we've been dreaming, but do you realize that the whole world's been dreaming for centuries and centuries? Back to the cradle of civilization. Back then, they found a prophetic dream dating from about 1400 BC. So the dream is nothing new. Just because the Western world has ignored it doesn't mean there wasn't validity to it. Back in the 1350, they found a papyrus dated with more than 200 dreams on it. People collected dreams that long ago. Do you collect your dreams? You get yourself a dream book and begin to collect your dreams. There's ancient history that this is going on. In classical dreams also, there were dreams that are very important. In the 2nd century, somebody wrote the first dream dictionary, 5-volume work of dream dictionary, including more than 3,000 dream reports. So ask the question, who created you to dream? Why is dreaming so important? That mankind, since the earliest years, collected dreams and paid attention to their dreams. So I want to ask you a question. What does the word dream mean to you? How do you define a dream? How do you explain what a dream is? Here's one of the dictionaries identified the dream as a series of images passing through a sleeping person's mind. That's simple. A series of images passing through a sleeping person's mind. The dream is a dynamic flow of images, anecdotes, stories, activities, emotions, and thoughts in that you experience while asleep. But a good friend of mine, who's now gone on to be with the Lord, named Reverend, I forgot his name already, Herman Riffle. He also wrote a book about dreams. He helped me begin to understand my dreams. He'd actually been to Rome and spoke there in the Vatican to bishops and priests about the value of dreams decades back, 30, 40 years ago. In the Western world, some people began to pay attention to their dreams and write books about them. So the question is, what is a dream? Herman Riffle said the dream is the voice of God speaking to us in the night while our conscious mind is stilled. The dream is the voice of God. Do you have a living God? Do you need a living God? Do you need help from somebody greater than yourself? The dream is one of the gifts that God gave us. Somebody's written a book called The Dreams Are a Gift from God. But we've ignored the dream in our civilization, in the Western world, in America, in Europe. The dream has been ignored. But my husband and I discovered the power of dreams back in the 1980s. We realized how important they are to our life. So here's another description of a dream. The dream is a vibrant mosaic, a mixture of images, usually symbolic in nature, usually. They're symbolic. They're picture language. Picture language is one of the ways that our heart understands things. You think about the Bible. Think how many of Jesus' teachings were in symbolic language, picture language. The kingdom of God is like this. If you look at the Old Testament, you'll find picture language used throughout the Bible. You find it in the Psalms. We use picture language. We don't know how to express what a rose is. We use picture language. Or what love is, What is love? Love is like a red, red rose, Robert Burns, the poet, said. So we have trouble expressing so many things. So we use picture language to help us understand, to help us communicate things. So I want to share with you right now, let me find it here. 5 types of dream themes that Calvin Hall, a dream researcher, discovered. He studied 10,000 dreams of ordinary people. And he looked at them, and he reported that most of our dreams are about everyday concerns, about your everyday problems. Most of our dreams are not about something repressed or hidden from you, but they're about the things you're concerned about today. So when I help somebody with a dream, I say to them, what were you thinking about yesterday? What were the concerns on your heart? What were your prayers you were praying? What was going on yesterday that was different? What emotions did you have when you fell asleep? So most dreams come out of your daily life, what was going on the day before. Can you remember that? If you're going to record your dream, write down what you were thinking about, what you felt, what you experienced. Maybe it was a birthday, who knows, or maybe you went on a trip. Whatever it was, write it down what was going on. We call it current concerns in my book on dreams. I have a book that we published called 33 Ways How to Unlock the Mystery of Your Dreams. That I wrote this, is on Amazon. It's just 33 chapters of some simple techniques and strategies that will help you unlock the language of the dream, the mystery of the dream, so you can get the message out of the dream, the gift out of the dream that you need, the treasure. I like the word treasure. There's a treasure in your dream. It's hidden from you, and you need to unlock it and get it out. You need to learn how to do that with techniques and tools that will help you unlock the mystery of your dreams. But there are 5 types of dreams he discovered. Number 1 was struggles with mother and father. Isn't that interesting? Struggles with your mother and father. That's number 1. I had many, many dreams about my mother. I'd be dragging my mother up a hill. I'd be pulling her so hard, I'd be working so hard to pull her up the hill. Another dream I had my mother right on my back, and like this, and I'm trying to walk around, and I've got my mother on my back. And another dream I have with my mom is that I'm pulling her out of a fire. Now, why did I have those dreams? Was it a dream about my mother? No. It's about how I felt about my mother inside of me. There was something inside of me I needed to break free from. The umbilical cord perhaps needed to be broken. That I was tied to my mother. The umbilical cord had never been cut. Psychologically, in order to come into my own identity, who I am, I have to break free from that. So the dream helped me do that. So number 1 is struggles with mother and father. Number 2 is the dreams that most people dream about. 5 types of dream themes is your individual freedom, your personal freedom versus security. We want to be free, but at the same time we want to be secure and safe. We want to go on an adventure, but at the same time we don't like to leave our home. We're afraid of what might happen. These are dreams about freedom versus security. The third one is conflict between masculine and feminine. We all carry within us some energies like that. The masculine and feminine. We have a war between husband and wife because of the different energies we carry. A mother, a female, is more nurturing. The man is more outward going. He is goal-oriented. So we have conflicts with this in our life. We have to work those conflicts out. Number 4 is we have what we call socialization. How do we adapt to other people around us? How do we keep them happy with us? Versus our own instincts, our own gut reaction. What's going on in my intuition? What I need to be doing for me. So we have a conflict. We want to be socialized. We want people to like us. We want to adapt. We want them to accept us into the group. But at the same time, we want to have our own our gut nature. We want to be true to who I really am. And the last one is concerns about life and death. That's a big one. But when I ask the question, where do all these symbols and images come from in your dream? Who are those people that show up in your dream? Most of the symbols show up in your dream because they're part of your ordinary life experiences. I had a friend who had a dream about potatoes. And in his family, potatoes represented the way they make, his grandparents, the way they earned their money. They were potato farmers. My father was a commercial fisherman. When I dreamt about fish, I had a relationship with that fish. So it's out of my own life experiences. Often as a nurse, I dreamed about hospitals. I dreamed about trying to get my medications out on time and to not spill them. My husband was an engineer in an office. He often dreamt about being in an office with computers, not sure what he was supposed to be doing. These are common symbols out of our ordinary life. There's the personal unconscious. We're back in the childhood. My friend was coming from a deeper place in the subconscious. Some of those images come out of there. My good friend had a dream she was back in Scotland, riding a tram. She had been in America for decades and decades. But that dream took her back to another time in her life. Some of the images come out of our culture, like lightning, our national flag. Some of the dreams come there. And some of the images come out of, these are probably too complex for you, but they come out of the Spirit of God. And they're images that come, the angel Gabriel came and was teaching me how to fly. So where did the image of Gabriel come from? The angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel showed up in my dream, and he strapped wings on me, and he was teaching me how to fly. That symbol came from the Spirit of God. Another type of symbol comes from this deeper unconscious part of us. We call those symbols transformational symbols. So just be aware. Sometimes we have strange symbols. I remember a dream I had where a princess was being married. She was a bride being married, and she handed me a beautiful turquoise gift of pottery. Those are unique dreams. They're coming from a deep part. They're images I've never seen or saw. They're not part of my own life. So as we grow along in our journey to wholeness, as we grow along in our spiritual development, you might have some symbols that you've never seen before. I think my husband had a dream with monks or something he was with. We begin to have some experience, dreams, images we've never ever had an experience with. But before I finish this talk with you about dreams today, I want to give you an understanding about what are the common structures dreams carry. Many dreams just come with one single image, or maybe they're an endless story, a saga. And they go on and on for an hour. I've had those. They seem like they never want to stop. But most dreams come in like a story. You know, when you read a book, it sets up, there are 4 stages in the book, 4 different parts to the story. The first part is the setting. It's the background of the dream. Are you in a house? Are you out in a field? Are you out by the water on a boat? What is the setting of the dream? What is the context of it? Where are you located at? Are you in a wilderness? Are you in a different country? Many times we can be in a different country. Or we're in a different state, not in Florida where I live now, but maybe back in California. And or in Massachusetts where we once lived, in both those places. But there's a different consciousness in Massachusetts than there is in Florida. People retire down here. It's a very different reality. If I'm back, and sometimes I have dreams I'm back in Romania. So the context is very important when you look at your dream, the setting we call it. Number 2 is called the plot development. The plot development. The dream sets up the problem or the issue that has to be faced now. When the plot develops, somebody's chasing you, you're running from something. You're trying to get through something you can't get through, it's too small. So it's a development, there's a struggle going on. Or you're trying to hide from somebody behind a car. You're running from somebody. Or you discover something in a house you never saw before. That's called the plot development. It's the issue or the problem the dream is setting up for you. And then the third stage in the dream story is the culmination of the plot. The culmination. And you get to a key point. Let me see if I read that right. Where something changes. Where the plot changes. Something significant happens or doesn't happen. Let me say that again. Something significant happens or doesn't happen. And then the dream ends. Conclusion. Sometimes it's good to think about, do you like the way your dream ended? Are you happy with the conclusion? Or would you like to rewrite it? How would you like to change your dream's ending and rewrite it? You can do that. It's very helpful sometimes, especially if it's a trauma dream or a frightening dream. Rewrite it and say, this is how I'd like my dream to end. And if you do that, it begins to change the energy down inside of your heart that's giving you trouble. But the most important thing here I want to call is the because factor. The because factor. Look at your dream to see if there is what we call a because factor. Something happened or didn't happen. I didn't leave the room because I was afraid. I didn't come out of the closet because I was afraid. Is there a because factor? That can help you understand what the conflict is. I can't go somewhere because mother's upset with me. I can't go up that hill because it's too hard. I missed an opportunity because I was afraid of what's ahead. I think I heard about one of the founders of AA couldn't graduate from medical school because he was drunk, I think it was, if I remember right. Bill W. was he didn't get his diploma because he was drunk. But in a dream, something happens or something doesn't happen. It's called the because factor. Identify if you have a because factor in your dream and take time to look at that and say, how does that represent what's going on in my outer world now? Is there something I need to do or not do, but because of something I won't do it, because of fear? I'm afraid. Are you locked in a cage in a symbolic way and you're afraid to come out even though the door is open? There's a because factor in there. I'm afraid to come out. So identify the because factor. and go talk about it with the Creator and say, why is that dream coming to me right now? Why did this come tonight? What is it you want me to see? What is it you want me to solve? What is it I need to face? What is it I need to do? So keep on dreaming, friends. Write them down. Keep them. God uses them to help you in your life and move you forward. Thank you for listening today.